Inconsistencies in the English language that keep me up at night. Hamburgers. Hamburgers have not, do not, and will not ever contain ham.
Hamburgers are from the city of Hamburg in Germany, and so the style of food from Hamburg was called a hamburger. Burg means town or city, and that's why so many place names end in burg. When the word hamburger was borrowed into English, English speakers saw the part ham and were like, oh, I know that word. And they assumed that burger must be the other part of the word that referred to the style of sandwich. When speakers reanalyze a word as having different parts than it actually originally did, that's what's called a folk etymology. English speakers did this with the word cockroach, too. It's borrowed from the Spanish word cucaracha. It has nothing to do with cocks or roaches. Anyway, once English speakers had the word burger, they started applying it to other things like a cheeseburger or veggie burger.
Chips being called French fries.
French fries are called French fries because they're immersed in fat, and in the early 1900s, that style of cooking was strongly associated with French cuisine.
More than one goose becomes geese. So more than one moose becomes moose.
The plural of goose is geese because back in Proto-Germanic, the vowel sound was affected by the other vowels around it, which are no longer pronounced. It used to be that the singular and plural of goose were the same. It was the word gaunce. And then you just added a suffix is to make it plural. So the plural of gaunce was gaunces. But the e vowel in that suffix started changing the pronunciation of the first vowel. Speakers would anticipate that e vowel coming up, and they started pronouncing that ah as an e instead. This is called anticipatory assimilation in linguistics. So gaunces became ginses. But later on, that plural suffix was dropped entirely, leaving only that different vowel. The n dropped out too, so by the time Old English rolled around, the singular was gos and the plural was geese, and that gave us modern English goose and geese. The reason the plural of moose isn't meese is because we didn't inherit it from Proto-Germanic like we did goose. The word moose was actually borrowed from a Native American Algonquian language. And the plural suffix in those languages is actually a K, so the plural of moose in the Algonquian languages would be something more like mosak.
A package being delivered in a car is called a shipment. And if that package were to be in a ship, it would be cargo.
Yeah, this one's just a straight up reversal, but it's a really cool example of how the meanings of words can change over time. Shipment did originally refer to a ship, and it was only in the 1850s that it expanded its use to start referring to other types of transportation as well. Cargo comes from the Latin word carus, meaning a cart or wagon, and that became part of a verb, caricare, meaning to load a wagon. This evolved into the Spanish verb cargar, meaning to load, and then the Spanish noun cargo, meaning a burden, and that was the word we finally borrowed into English. So it had a long history of changes before English speakers ever heard it. And I'll give you one more just for fun. Here's one of the ways you can spell the word fish in English. You take the GH from tough, the O from women, and the TI from nation, and you get fish. You're welcome. I'm Danny. I post about the science and diversity of language. Give me a follow if you want to learn more.